What's good, my fellow destined ones? I'm extremely excited today because I have a build that is capable of defeating the Relic Holders in the Gauntlet of Legends. Guys, if you like this video, I would truly appreciate it if you smash the like button for me, but smash it after you see what this build is capable of doing. Let's get straight into it. You know how I do my guides here. You're going to be able to see the entire build in the beginning. I'm going to show you gameplay of me actually doing all the things that I'm saying on screen, as well as I'm going to actually give you tips and tricks for each individual fight. Without further ado, let's lock in. First things first, we have the Dark Iron Staff. This is a build that we all love on this channel. We've been using this build for a while, but I actually took the Rock Solid build and our original King Bull build and I put them together. This is a monster because you can practically not really have too much knowledge of the fight and still get away with murder. Like, you'll be able to take out your opponent. So with that being said, you're going to need the Dark Iron Staff, so we want to get our defense up. You're going to want the Wind Tamer so you can get that damage reduction. You already know when it's rock solid and it's the damage reduction, you know what we're going for. We're going for super high damage reduction with this one. Now, you're also going to be trolling a little bit. This is a new addition. Usually we would have rocked Wandering White or we would have went in with the Bat. The Bat is not a bad idea, but not every single one of these enemies can be frozen. So the Bear can be frozen, Yellow Wind Sage can be frozen, Yellowbrow cannot be frozen, 100 Eyed Daoist can be frozen, Yaksha King cannot be frozen, and of course Erlang cannot be frozen. So you're not really getting that much use out of it if you're trying to do it for the later fights. It does do a little bit of damage if you have the right Curios, but you just want to use this right here so that you control. You're going to lay down a shield. You want to stand behind that shield and basically break line of sight. The enemy will try to hit you and they will bump into the shield and they'll get knocked back. It's a great way to hammer out and try to get as much damage as humanly possible in that small window. Of course, the King Bull or Bull King set, you already know what it is. It grants moderate focus upon taking damage. If the Destined One is under the effects of tenacity, it grants more focus. So we're doubling down with that with the Amber Prayer Beads so we get even more focus. Now, we're snatching a couple of things from our Rock Solid build like the Jade Moon Rabbit and the Gold Sun Crow for that damage reduction and the attack boost. Then we're plussing the Boshan sensor so that we can get even more damage reduction with our gourd, and our gourd is going to be special. And last but not least is going to be the golden spike plate, just so we can get a little bit more defense up and boost up our DPS. Now the gourd. The Xingtian gourd is going to be our best friend for today because we want it to deplete so that we can get the most out of the Boshan sensor, as well as the soaks. The soaks are completely up to you, but some suggestions. You might want to go with at least 1 or 2 Laurel buds. Tiger Relic is great for crit hit chance. A Graceful Orchid or a Celestial Lotus Seed so that you can get that recovery of health. It's completely up to you what you want to go with, but these are some great suggestions. And last but not least, just go ahead and throw on your favorite medicines if you want to use them. Without further ado, let's get over to the spells. So, transformation is going to be the Azure Dust because we want to control the battlefield and we also want that moderate increase to defense. That is so important because the higher your defense is with the Dark Iron Staff, the better your DPS is. For the strand, we're doing the life-saving strand and we're going to make sure that this is maxed out so that if you do die for any reason, you'll be able to have a chance to get it back. Not only that, but you'll also be able to get a couple of gourd uses and some health and mana. So it really does, it comes in handy. For our alteration, we're doing rock solid because you know I love to be rock solid in my fights and try to deflect the enemy and try to get the advantage, take, you know, advantage of those counters. And then immobilize so that we can always get out of dodge, get ourselves out of trouble. The stances are going to be basically smash and thrust. I use a lot of thrust when I'm behind the shield, but usually I would charge up the 4-point crazy smash stance attack so that we can get that big damage out and move through these fights a hell of a lot quicker than usual. When it comes to foundation, grab whatever you need here. It's completely up to you, but make sure you have a little bit of staff spinning in there so that you can get up your focus as fast as possible. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this. All right, so you got to think about these bosses. There's going to be 6 of them. The first one is going to be the bear. The bear is probably not really a threat, to be honest with you. You can pull up on him, immobilize him right off the jump, and then just hammer away with your staff spin. Try to get up your damage reduction just in case, because he can go crazy if you allow him to. And with your focus built up, you want to try to get off a big hit. Now, if he starts to go crazy and start jumping around the arena in his little like faded form, I don't really know how to explain it, but when he does his little Harry Potter apparition type thing, you want to use the Wind Tamer. You'll knock him clean out of that. Or if you have immobilization, you can immobilize him and it'll knock him out of that. So those are 2 options to get him out of that form so that you can get him back on the ground and beat his tail. Now, does he have a tail? I don't know. Anyways, after you finish beating this man down, you want to move on to the Yellow Wind Sage. Now, this guy is a little bit of a problem, but we're going to be completely controlling his fight and ignoring him. Plus we have the Wind Tamer, so you want to try to be getting as much staff spins out on this man as humanly possible. Keep him off balance, and as soon as he summons those tornadoes, we get rid of him. He gets lost at that point, he freezes up, and then it's just time to go to work. It really makes his fight easy mode. So make sure that you're trying to control all of the wind and things that he's doing, keep him from doing it, and stay right on top of him so that you'll always be able to get those big hits out when you need it. You'll be able to wrap him up pretty quickly if you do so. Now don't forget, your gourd is your best friend. When you feel like you're about to get in trouble or when you're about to panic a little bit, pop the Zintian so that you can get that extra damage reduction because you have those Laurel buds and everything else working in your favor. And with your gourd depleted, you're going to take a hell of a lot less damage. It's night and day. So just make sure that you're always using it to keep yourself safe so that you can go crazy when you need to. Technically, you can also use Spellbinder if you wanted to. Spellbinder is going to be pretty amazing because you're going to have high attack already with all the defense. Then you're going to get it boosted with Spellbinder and your mana. So yeah, this could be an option. Definitely. It's completely up to you what you choose at the end of the day. But for me, I didn't really rock with Spellbinder. Anyways, let's move on to the next fight. So when you get to Yellowbrow, this man likes to go golden. So we have to slap him out of that. What I used to do was I used to throw my fan at him, push him over into the corner, bully him a little bit, and then when he goes golden boy, I slapped him out of it. Once you slap him out of that, you go ahead, you start staff spinning again, you build up your fan, and then you throw the fan at him again. And I just rinsed and repeat that. It just sauces this man up. But with this setup, I can't do that. So I actually go for a more passive aggressive. I pop the Wind Tamer for the damage reduction. So just in case he starts swinging his electronic little swingy thing that he does, I don't have to get hit by that. I ignore all of what he's doing with high damage reduction, and then I just do what I need to do to make sure that I'm getting out my DPS. It's a fair, fun fight nonetheless, but it can get a little bit tricky if you're not paying attention. Alright, so when it comes to the 100 Eyed Daoist, this is a little bit interesting. You can freeze him with immobilization. You're able to use Rock Solid to deflect them if you got the timing right. But a lot of the times I just like to use our big shield, throw that down in front of us so that he just can't do anything to me. And then I charge up for a little bit and I slap him for huge damage. Smash attack is your best friend and he hates it. When he goes into his second phase, you can Wind Tamer him out of a lot of the things that he tries to do, or at least knock him back so that he falls down for a couple of seconds so you can get in a smash attack. And if you really want to go crazy with it, you can use like the LAAP so that you can get that super huge crit hit chance, crit hit damage, and damage boost and then you can probably nuke him down before he does anything. When he goes into the second phase, he's actually extremely vulnerable, so it's probably not a bad idea to try to boost your DPS so that you can take him out as fast as possible. Next up is going to be the Yaksha King. Now y'all know I hate this man. I hated him until today, until this build. First things first, what I do, I get the hell back. In the beginning of the fight, he goes crazy. He does his full cleave of the entire arena, then the downward chop, cleave again, downward chop, cleave. That kills me every single time. Even though I know the timing to it, sometimes I'm just choked up or whatever and I just crash out. But in order to get away from that, all you got to do is back up. There you go. If you're close enough and if you have that game, then you can probably smack him with the Wind Tamer and stop him from doing it, or hit the man with the fan. I'm pretty sure the fan is not going to make it out in time, so don't do that one. I would just back up. Once you back up, go ahead, get close, and then drop down the shield boy. Once the shield is on the ground, you want to break line of sight so that he tries to hit you. He'll bump straight into the shield, and then you terrorize his life. Hit him with an immobilization so that you can go in for some big hits. Make sure you add that together with a couple of smash attacks, and you'll watch this man fall a hell of a lot faster than you thought he would. Now, finally, we have Erlang. This guy is a problem. Regardless, you need to be on your toes and you have to learn his timing. His timing is very, very sloppy. He's going to be doing a lot of stuff to you, and he's going to try to do everything to you. Now, with the build that we have here, we can control the battlefield very well. The shield works amazing. You drop that shield down and break line of sight, he's going to try to hit you and bump straight into it every single time. And it's just funny to me that he just constantly keeps smashing into it and you can constantly keep punishing him for it. But one thing he can do, he will break it pretty quickly, so just be aware of that. It's not invincible. But if you're going to go ahead and do a little bit of staff spinning and get it back pretty quickly, then it doesn't really matter. Remember that you always want to be depleting that gourd so that you can get those damage reductions as well as that defensive boost. It's just too important not to have it. And with the defensive boost, your attack power is going to go up as well. So it's a win-win situation. You are definitely going to make it into a second phase. And when you get to second phase, when you're at the 30% range, be careful. He's going to start using that full axe whip cleave attack, and it's going to scrape the entire arena in half. Just be ready for it. If he catches you off guard, you're going to die to that. Make sure if you have it, you use your soul remigration pill so that you can get a resurrection for free. And then you have your life-saving strand so that you can get more resurrections just in case you fall in the fight. I hope you found this guide helpful, and I hope you beat it. If you did, let me know how long it took you in the comment section below. I'm super curious. There's some other builds that I'm testing right now. I've been testing this for like 7 hours. And this is the build that finally not only destroyed it, but it did so well that I had to make this video immediately. Now, I'm still going to test the other builds. You guys have been sending me amazing builds all week long, and I'm testing a bunch of them. And just before I get out of here, I want to give a huge shout out to Mohias2103. This guy sent me an amazing comment about a Spellbinder Wukong stance build, and I was testing it out, and it's pretty cracked out. I'm just not good enough with it just yet. When I do get good enough and I have suggestions and a whole bunch of things to add to it, I will be dropping that guide alongside a bunch of other builds that work in the Gauntlet of Legends. If you like what I do on the channel, make sure you smash that like button and sub so that you don't miss out on any more tips, tricks, guides, and everything else you need for Black Myth Wukong. This is your boy M of MSensei HD. For now though, I'm out of here.